X-Pac 12360. Featuring weekly news, insider commentary, and interviews with superstars, past and present from the world of pro wrestling.
A new day is dawning for DX.
And now, your hosts, Sean X-Pac Waltman.
Welcome to X-Pac 12360, everyone. A little bit later on, I know it might not sound like this because, you know, the way I'm talking, but I'm actually really excited about our guest.
Yeah.
I've known him for many, many years, like over 25 years. Yeah, actually. And the first time I ever saw this guy walk in the locker room in one of the shows I was wrestling on, and somewhere in Minnesota or Wisconsin, but anyways, I had never seen anybody this massive in my entire life, man.
Was he literally twice your size back then?
It was, and I'd seen like the Warlord, who's another Minnesota guy, and just massive, but I never seen anyone like with this kind of just muscle mass. He was 350 pounds, because I remember asking him, looking up at him and going, "How much do you weigh?" Looking at him. It was Scott Flash Norton. That's who our guest is going to be this week, or you know, a little bit later on. And I would just talk to him on the phone, and you know, I'm still pretty sad, actually. You guys, I'm not going to lie to. You know, was last week. You know, and people know why. And so I just got back last night, actually, and I haven't seen. You know, I have had a lot of shit going on. It's hard to focus on wrestling, but I'm still trying to. It was a tough week. So, you know, people are like, we're here for you, and I'm really grateful, but like, I don't need to be, you know, lean on I had to be that person for my kids, you know, that I'm here for them. Like, okay, like, so, it did feel good though. Like, thousands of people reached out. I'm not gonna lie. Well, of course I'm not gonna lie about that. Duh. People say that so much. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, it was a tough week. Just want to say that, get that out of the way.
Sure.
I'm happy that we have a guy like Scott on a show to help.
Yeah, the reason why I was saying that is because I got here a little while ago and I was just lost, and walked in the studio and I got nothing, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I couldn't really help you guys, you know, with ideas, and then, you know, you guys come up with ideas, and I'm like, nah, you know, I didn't have anything either, and I got Scott Norton on the phone, and man, as soon as I heard his voice, I just freaking lit up. I could just feel myself. I got this big smile on my face, and because he's just, it's big, and I mean, some of the stories are just ridiculous stories, like Minneapolis. Like, this guy's a legend. As far as, like, you know, we were talking about Animal last week.
Grandma Bees.
About Grandma Bees. Well, like, Scott Norton wasn't I don't think he ever worked at Grandma Bees. He might have went through there after those guys, but Scott Norton was, you know, he worked in some clubs in Minneapolis. And, there's a lot of stories of Scott, just ridiculous.
We'll have to get into a couple of them then.
Well, I mean, I only, like, anyways, and he's a pretty humble guy, actually, for all the shit this guy's done.
Sure.
You know, world arm wrestling champion. Like, the first guy I ever seen, like, the late Cleve Dean, he was a world champion arm wrestler, and like, no one could even move his arm for many, many years until he kind of got sick, you know, a little bit sick, and even after he got, anyways, we're not here to talk about Cleve Dean.
Sure.
But Scott that's why they call him Flash, because he flashed Cleve Dean.
He was an over the top, you know?
Yeah, so, not only that, but just all the stuff. Anyways, we're going to talk to Scott about that stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
And like you mentioned last week, this show is an escape for the fans, and this show will be an escape for you today too. We're gonna have a good time, and your buddy's gonna be on the show. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. So, but let's talk about a few other things going on.
All right, well, I'm going to do my best Denise today. She's not here, so I apologize.
Yeah.
You have to stare at me. But Neville, a.k.a. Pac, has made his return to professional wrestling. He did it at Dragon Gate just last night, I believe, Jimbo. Actually, you predicted this a while back. You said, I think he's going back to Dragon Gate. And sure enough, he was there for 5 years. He won 3 different titles. And now he's back joining the Red Faction, and place went nuts.
I'm pretty sure I remember shitting all over that when you said that, too. Just wanted to acknowledge that, Jimbo.
Jimbo nailed it.
I'm curious to see how he's going to be there as a heel.
Sure.
Because before, when he was in Dragon Gate, he was always a babyface.
I mean,
So
is that a thing there? Baby faces and heels?
It's a pretty strong divide
Oh, okay.
with factions, especially with factions.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how he's going to be received there, as now he's a bad guy because everyone's wanted him to come back, so they want to cheer him, but now he's a bad guy.
It's a thick faction over there. I'd like to see if he's going to be the head of it. I mean, with the fanfare of him returning, that's a huge deal for Dragon Gate.
I think it's just one of many things. I'm pretty sure that, well, I'm not pretty sure, but I'm guessing. That's the way I should have said that.
There you go.
I'm guessing that he's going to not put all his eggs in one basket.
No,
That's the thing in these days, is not to do that, is to have a lot of different things going on. That way of something. That's not just wrestling, folks. That's life these days. That's anything you're doing. Like, diversify. Do not give one particular entity all the power.
So what you're saying is you're guessing he did not sign an exclusive
That's what
contract.
I'm saying.
There you go.
Thank you.
No exclusive contract.
That's what
Guessing.
I'm trying to say.
But congratulations to him. It's great to see him back.
Yeah.
And he is something else for sure.
Anywhere that he shows up is a huge positive for whatever promotion he turns up in. People have been waiting for a while, and the only reason you're not talking about him in the best in the world is because he hasn't wrestled in a while.
Yeah.
Watch him enter that conversation rather quickly moving forward.
No doubt about that.
Yeah.
It's been over a year, so it's good to have him back for sure. NWA, as we all know, NWA's 70th anniversary is coming up October 21st in Nashville. They made some big announcements over the weekend. Number one, Jazz will be defending her women's title. She's had it for almost 750 days. Have not announced the opponent, though. But they put out a really great video, Dave Lagana, front of the show. Incredible video showing Jazz, in her real life, working at a prison, and then having her talk about what the title means to her. I thought it was great.
Yeah. There's a little bit of history of the ladies in our industry also working other jobs in prisons. Susan Green.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you remember who that was?
I
Sue
do not.
Green? Yeah, Sue Green was prison guard. Yeah, she was a badass too. And that describes Jazz. She is a badass. Lou's down here snoring like a mother effer. Anyways, yeah, Jazz is. When you talk to her and when she talks to you, you're talking to somebody realer than the usual people that you run it. Not that the other people aren't, but she just brings it, you just feel it more. She's you feel the badassery.
Yep.
And when you're in her presence.
The video, she said, she tries to provide hope for people, for the inmates, but then when she gets in the ring, she deserves this moment to be at NWA 70.
Yeah.
She really does. It's exciting to see.
And I hope it's not, and even if it's just there to pass the torch to someone else, which I wouldn't mind, I haven't seen her lately, but I can imagine she could probably still go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without question.
So if that's the case, if she can still go, maybe let's keep it on her for a minute.
Yeah, it's exciting to see who the opponent's going to be. Also,
It's compelling because she has a story.
Yeah.
And and that's what's so great about the 10 pounds of gold and as Dave was talking about when he was on the show a few weeks back, you know, it's just the way they're doing this, you know, the way they're presenting the NWA product is so different and so cool.
And it kind of reminds me a little bit of how we got to know Tim Storm on a national level. You got to love his story. The guy is still a teacher at 53 years old, and he carried that title around for over a year with so much pride, and he has a lot to do with this resurgence of the NWA.
Yeah. Oh, Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can't, like, you know, we know Tim. We feel like we know Tim now.
He's one of the greatest human beings you'll ever meet, too.
And he looks great. And he looks the part, like when he's walking down to the ring with those guys wearing the black suit, and, you know, a very distinguished etched face, you know. He looks like a man. Or, I mean, not that other people, you know what I mean? He's got this particular look to him, you know. And so it's nice to still see Tim Storm in the picture.
And we will see him on October 21st. I don't know in what capacity exactly, but guaranteed he's going to have to be there, which is pretty cool. Also, the NWA announced they're going to bring back they're going to have a tournament to decide the new NWA National Champion. The field of competitors will include Colt Cabana, Scorpio Sky, Mike Parrow, Jay Bradley, Sam Shaw, Ricky Starks, Willie Mack, and Sammy Guevara.
Yes. And I was asked after Dave came on the show, he mentioned to me if I was interested in participating, and I put some serious thought into it, and I'm just not sure right now. I mean, not that I won't be in the future, but I didn't feel, just like with the Battle Royal at All In.
Sure. Because you were approached to do that as well.
Yeah, and I just, like, maybe sometime in the near future, I'll feel comfortable, you know, doing that. But I don't, like, I'm comfortable going and have matches, but you know, on a bigger stage and you know that many people watching, I'd rather be you know, be able, you know, a little sharper.
Well, usually you like to perform in tag matches instead of singles. If you went back to do something with the NWA, is going for the NWA title something you would consider? Would you like to face Cody?
Of course, in my mind, I would, but like, I don't know if I'd have to have some singles matches, you know, before I even thought about that, before I even like seriously considered it, you know, because I mean, I talked to Nick Aldis in private about, or he mentioned it to me, you know, and when he did, I thought about it, and I'm like, I don't think I could do it, you know. Do it justice at the time.
But that shows just the level of respect you have, not only for the business, but the self-awareness. It's nice to have the offer from All In and from the NWA.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that, and it's flattering, and, you know, it makes me feel good.
As it should. This is great stuff.
I like feeling good.
So, yeah, what do you think about the Field of 8? This is an incredible group, very eclectic group of performers here.
Yeah. You know, I'm particularly fond of Willie Mack and Colt Cabana. I pick a Willie. I want Willie.
I want Willie too.
I'm sorry. I mean, I got to go Sky if I had to choose
I'll
out
go
of the 8.
Scorp, you know.
But,
yeah, Scorp, but he's a deserving. Yeah, I don't think Willie needs it. Willie's got some other. Isn't he carrying hardware like some other promotions?
Hollywood Heritage Champion for Championship Wrestling. He's still that. He just got back from Japan. He's going all over the place.
Yeah. And
he just wrestled Cody over the weekend.
So. Yes, Scorpio Sky. Very deserving, and like he's got a lot going on right now.
Got a lot going on.
He's going out there, like, you know, showcasing himself, and every time he gets a chance, he's, you know, he's delivering.
And then, of course, with history, though, you have Cabana as a former 2-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion. So if he wins it, he's got the lineage there. Yeah. So this is a great field.
Yep.
Great job by NWA putting that together.
Yeah, and really I like the concept of how to get, you know, 8 guys into 3 matches.
Yeah, 2 fatal 4-ways.
That was a really great concept.
Yeah.
2 fatal 4-ways.
Mark said earlier,
Yes, it was 2 fatal 4-way matches, and the winners of those fatal 4-way matches are going to be facing off for the championship in a one-on-one bout.
Yeah.
There you go. And speaking of that, Cody and Aldis is now going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
And what do you think? I mean, is Cody the babyface?
With the way Aldis was at All In, yeah. But then
Especially
again, after what he said,
But they're going to be in Nashville. That's got to be like dusty country, I guch you're going to say. You know, like everyone's wanting to see Cody. I would think.
I mean, but
I mean,
that's they're just two human beings, you know, two men. Like they were, you know, Cody for his dad and Nick for his son, and it's hard to be hating on a guy who's doing something for his kids, man.
I think it's going to be two competitors.
It doesn't have to be good guy, bad guy.
Right. I think it's going to be two competitors willing to do whatever it takes. If that means both of them bending the rules, I think they're both going to bend the rules.
People can take whatever side they want,
Absolutely.
and that's fine. And I hope that when the people do, that they work accordingly.
I'm excited for the 10 pounds of gold that's going to be preceding this because that really helped me personally get the stage set for the All-In match.
Yeah.
And the extra little bit of flavor that the match needed, I think, came in that video package. And they just knock those so out of the park. I'm excited to see what they do for this one.
Hey, did you see that? I think there was a tweet, Lagana tweeted out, and it said something like, authentic is the new hardcore.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
And there was a thing of, was it Cody versus Tommy Dreamer?
Did that happen? I don't even know.
I don't know, or something.
Yep.
Anyways, was that what it was, Mark? Or am I just? I mean, I saw something.
I think
It was something to do with Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, Tommy Dreamer. He did something with the NWA at the.
Was it with Nick?
At House of Hardcore?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was with Nick.
All right.
Yes, it was. And then, of course, Cody faced Willie Mack over the weekend. But either way, go to NWA70.com to get your tickets, October 21st in Nashville. And before we get into our interview with Scott Norton, last night on Raw, or I should say Monday night on Raw, Shawn Michaels and Triple H took simultaneous choke slams from the Brothers of Destruction, which this marks the first time we've seen Shawn do anything like that in years.
Yeah, besides come out and
Super
give
kick
it the
somebody.
obligatory kick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean came out and like he always does, he had very nice command of the microphone, and I it was your stuff. I mean, what you would expect. There was nothing. Nothing out like. There was nothing like really to write home about. It was the stuff he said, but it was what you would think, and. And then what do you think of it? I enjoyed it.
I think people were surprised to see Shawn actually, but obviously it leads up to this Saturday in Australia. Yeah. But the big question is, will it lead to a tag match in Saudi Arabia in November where Shawn Michaels gets back into a ring?
Yeah, probably.
So?
That doesn't seem like. It just seems like they're. That seems like to be the direction that they're not even, they're, it's obvious. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, you guys.
You're not guessing.
It took me just a little bit to spit that out.
Well, he's in great shape. He's spending a lot of time at the PC.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense.
And so, I think Paul maybe had to tell Kane to cut him off, because he kept when he came in, he kept on. I think he was fighting a little bit too long there. I think he had tell. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I saw him go, "Hey, cut me off, damn."
It's fun watching you watch wrestling because your brain thinks so much differently and so much more in depth than everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You just get tired of throwing punches. Damn, man. Shit. Yeah. So okay. That's a huge deal, and whatever happens with any of that combination of whatever they can make from that is going to be excellent.
Yes,
because what any of those guys, have lost in, athleticism,
character.
It's the story. They're masters at storytelling,
and
and that's the thing these days. I'll just talk about real quick because I don't want to get into New Japan's show because I didn't see all of it. But I was watching Marty Scurll and Will Ospreay, and I can't imagine a match was better than that on New Japan's show. Jimbo,
it was great.
I loved it. It was such a great match.
It was. these guys, there's so many guys out there that are pushing the bar, raising the bar, as far as athleticism and moves you can do. What's going to stand out from now on is the actual storytelling and the psychology. So, yes, as much as a lot of people have, over the years talked about that in relation to, this particular style of wrestling, the cruiserweight style, the high-flying style, that's what's going to end up having to happen, for anybody to stand out. And wow, I have to take my hats off to those two guys, because that was just, and they knew where they were on the card, and they started the match accordingly.
Hot, right back.
Started it hot.
Right back from intermission.
Yes.
Standing Spanish
That's
fly.
right.
1-2 kick out, rolls out of the ring,
That's right.
dive to the outside.
Oh,
Everyone
just
was
amazing
like,
stuff.
Holy shit,
Yes.
we're back.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It was really good.
And you're not the only one who thought that. Many people thought that was the match of the night, clearly. Even though the main event was tons of fun, and obviously Cody winning from Juice Robinson was a bit of a surprise for some people, but yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But that was what I saw, and I was incredibly impressed with that. Wow.
I think every match had great moments, but overall that was the best match from bell to bell.
Yeah,
Definitely.
what a fun event, though. They put together a fantastic card, and the Walter Pyramid is almost jam-packed.
It was almost packed, and what sucks is, we were talking about this earlier, the seats are yellow.
Sure.
So when they're empty, they're so eye-catching for you. But even Kenny at the end of the show was like, I was here for the dark match, and I saw some empty yellow seats, but now I see a lot of full seats.
Back in the day, I think they used to put trash bags on the seats to make them look like they were full.
It still happens.
Someone does that.
I'm on plenty of shows that happens.
It's like, I've seen that done around
Have you
somewhere.
really?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, trash bags are come in handy.
Never mind. I think I know what you're talking about.
Should we get to Scott Norton?
Yeah, let's take a break. Be right back. Welcome back to X-Pac 12360, everyone. Joining us right now over the phone. He's a legend. He's a former World Arm Wrestling champ. Legendary in Japan, former IWGP World Champion. Legend here in the States, and we were members of the New World Order together, and we're going to be teaming up. I think it's October 18th. Am I right about
October
that?
19th.
October 19th.
At Glory Pro.
At Glory Pro. What Glory Pro?
Glory Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, Glory Pro Wrestling. And Scott Flash Norton, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Hey, how you doing, Sean? Good talking to you, brother.
Scott, thank you so much, man. Hey, I had a shitty week this week, and it was all the way until I talked to you on the phone a little while ago. As soon as I got you on the phone, man, my face, you can ask my friends here, my
His
face.
whole demeanor changed.
Yeah, man, and I really appreciate that. That's what you do every time you're
Sean,
around.
We always click, brother. Way back when I was running around tearing Minneapolis down,
Yeah,
and you were just a young kid.
yep.
I mean, it's always been a click between you and I. You're a great guy, man, and I would do anything that you need,
Thanks,
especially
man.
for you, brother.
Thank you.
This has been a relationship that's gone way back, man.
Yeah, well, over
Everything's
25
good.
years. Over 25 years. I was telling these guys the first time that I saw you in person, I was on a show. I was wrestling Ricky Rice on an independent show that Dale, you remember Dale Gagner, a.k.a. Dale Gagne?
Yep.
He was running.
Yeah, I sure.
Yeah. I won't get into that guy, but anyways, he was running the show, and I was on it, and you came in the dressing room, and I could not even believe what I was looking at, Scott. I was like, oh my God, and I was like, how much do you weigh? And you're like 350 pounds. And you were the most and I'd seen Terry Sapinski, the Warlord, before, but I'd never seen anyone that massive in my entire life, man. Oh my God.
Well, we put a lot of time in the gym, and
Yeah.
when I just come off the fresh off the arm wrestling scene, and I was putting it down there. I was pounding I was doing weights in the gym that people just dreamed about, and I was prepping it for.
Yeah. Hey, you
having
know,
a blast, man.
the legend in Minneapolis goes that the first time you ever got underneath or sat down on the bench, you benched 405 for like 2.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
insane.
Hawk did that. Hawk says, "Get under there, Norton, try it." And all the guys in the gym, Al Blake, all these big dudes. He says, "Just do it once," and I says, "All right." I says, "What the hell?" So I got under there 405 and I went up once and I did it again. So I mean, it pissed a lot of people off, actually.
Well, yeah.
But Hawk, Hawk, I told you.
Well, it was Hawk.
Here,
Actually, it was Hawk that told me the story. That's why actually I think I got it right.
Yeah. Oh no, Hawk. Hawk was the greatest guy, man. If you were his friend, you were his best friend.
For real.
That dude would have done anything for any one of us, and it's just terrible that he's not with us today.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain people in this business. We get along. We all make do. We make sure we got to get done what we got to get done.
Yeah.
But Hawk was a true friend like no other. I mean, that dude was just growing up with him was just awesome.
Hey, and you guys were both Henry High School, right?
Yep, we both went to Henry together.
Yeah, because I had
pretty wild, going to high school with a road warrior.
Yeah, well, see, I had Joe on last week, and we were talking about like the North Minneapolis versus Robbinsdale rivalry, and the whole the McDonald's parking lot and all that. You have any memories of that?
Yeah, Kurt hit and run.
Yeah. Oh, the punching Hawk through the window.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Kurt drove Hawk crazy at that for 20 years.
He sure did.
But no, man, that was just a little brush up between guys.
Yeah.
We've always got along with the guys from Robbins. They always got along with us. I mean, they probably had the numbers on us, but I'll take our firepower, brother.
No, hell yeah. Yeah, no, it's incredible.
So what kind of crazy stories do you have from bouncing in Minneapolis?
Oh, you mean at Grandma B's?
Oh, so
yes.
you bounced at Grandma B's also.
Oh, God, there's a ton of them. I mean, I remember one day, me and Steve Lindemoon. Do you remember Steve Lindemoon from the gym?
Yes.
He was an ex-Marine, big dude. And me and him, we always trained, and on Friday afternoons, we'd go have a couple beers, after we got done. And we went down to Waldo's bar, and we're having happy hour down there. We're just having a blast. And about 6-8 bikers come in, and this one dude was just getting out of hand, And Danny Notch was the bartender. And Danny wasn't a fighter, just a pretty passive guy, So I walked up to the dude, and I told him, I said, you got to take it light here, buddy. This ain't, you're getting out of line. Settle it down. So he went in his back pocket. He grabbed a ball-peen hammer.
Oh. Yes.
And he raised that ball-peen hammer up, and I just drilled him. And when I hit him, this was lights out. They dragged this guy out. I mean, I figured they're taking him to the morgue. I mean, it was perfect. I mean, but he just, he needed it. He needed to get, his ass handed to him, and he did. So anyways, we used to bench heavy every second Saturday at my gym on 44th and Lindell.
44th and Lindell,
Right
Northside Gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Iron Den. So anyways, we're down there, we're lifting, and it's me and about 4 or 5 other guys, and we're benching heavy, and we got our bench shirts on. And the next thing you know, I hear this motorcycle going up, bah, 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 bah. I said, oh, shit. And it was that gang of guys.
Oh.
Come walking in. They had even more this time. And I'm going, oh, we're toast here, man. I mean, we got these bench shirts on. We can't even move.
Oh, no. Yeah, bench shirts. Anyways, yeah.
So the guy comes walking up into the bar, and the gym, and he's just got a black eye, just total massive black eye. And he walks up and he goes, man, last night I'm sorry.
Wow.
I says, okay. We're sitting ducks. They'd have tore our ass up because, we couldn't get out of them bench shirts to save our ass. It actually reminded me of Eddie Which Way But Loose. You remember?
Yes.
Whatever that show, Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. Yep.
Them goofy-ass bikers.
Yeah. Oh, yes, the Black Widows.
Yeah, the Black Widow came to town, brother.
Yep.
And we laughed our ass off, and I'm saying, man, we got lucky there, dudes, because these guys could have kicked the hell out of us. But yeah, that was just one that sticks out pretty good, you know.
Yeah, but hey,
you know,
I'm sorry. Keep going.
you know, it just we're young, you know. I mean, Minneapolis is a tough town.
Unbelievable.
I mean, it's a hard place to grow up. It's a hard place to live. It's blue collar to the max. It's just it's a rugged place, and there's a lot of tough, rugged guys up there, you know. You get you ready for the real world, that's for sure.
Hey Scott, when you went to train with Brad, okay, I just want to touch on the arm wrestling real quick because you're the first guy that ever moves Cleve Dean's arm, aren't you?
Wow.
I was the first guy to beat Cleve.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, me and Hawk went to a tournament in Detroit in 1981.
Yeah.
And Cleve Dean showed up. And this dude was massive. He's 6'8", 6'10", about 625. And I mean, just absolutely, his forearm was bigger than my thigh.
And he actually competed in the World's Strongest Man contest at one time as well. Yes.
A couple times. So anyways, when that day, like the third round, I arm wrestled him and he beat me and he laughed at me.
Wow.
And it pissed Hawk went nuts. And I was pissed. So I came through all the way through the back door. And there we were at the finals, you know. And needless to say, he beat me again, you know. And he didn't laugh the second time. He knew I was pissed. So anyways, through the period of the next 5 years, I kept arm wrestling. The next time I arm wrestled, it took about 30 seconds for them to beat me. Then the next time it took them about a minute and a half. And then the last time before I ended up beating him in Vegas, we had a legendary match for like 3.5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And the only reason, and he won, but he had my hand in a losing position for over a minute. And so I got beat, you know. And then I stepped away from arm wrestling for 2 years because the movie Over the Top was coming out with the biggest arm wrestling tournament ever.
Yep.
And that's when I started training. Again, I mean, unbelievably training. And I spent 2 years in the gym just waiting to get, you know, face-to-face with that son of a gun. And the fourth round of the world tournament, biggest tournament ever, was me against him. And, you know, we locked up and you could just, everybody in the room knew. He knew. He looked at me like, he just.
Oh, shit.
I just pounded him. Boom, 1 second.
Bam.
Competitive. And place went nuts, you know. First time anybody ever beat him.
Yeah.
And so then he come through the back door in Vegas. And he pounded everybody. And it was him and I in the finals, and same deal. I popped him, and then that was it for my arm wrestling career, because when I traveled with the movie Over the Top, New Japan approached me, and they offered me a deal. I talked to Hawk. I said, New Japan, a good company. He says, Scott, you don't take that contract, I'll kill you. He's been trying to talk me into wrestling for years.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I stepped away from arm wrestling. I started figured I needed to get a career going, and it was the best thing, you know, arm wrestling. I wish I could go back to it, you know. I've had some injuries during my career in wrestling. You know, blew all pecs, I blew all triceps, biceps. And it just, you know, it's not, I'd love to go back, but it just ain't in the cards.
No? Well.
No.
But
I mean, I'm good. You know, I can't endure a lot of matches the same day. When I train up good and hard, you know, my hand and wrist is, you know, world class. But these dudes they're monsters, man. It's no joke. I mean, when you get in with the top guys, it's crazy. They're crazy good.
Yeah. When did Hawk hook you up with Brad after that, or did New Japan do that?
New Japan did.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right. Of course they did.
Brad were best buds, you know.
Yeah, and I wanted to. No, I was just. It just made me think of Moss's passing, and I know you guys were close, and it just, you know, I don't know if you want to mention that at all.
Moss was. He made my career. He told me when I come to Japan, he says, "You trust me, Scott?" And I says, "I do." He says, "You listen to me," and he says, "I'll take you, brother, right to the top, as long as you want." And as long as Moss was there, I was his guy, man. And I mean, he never lied to me. And you know, that doesn't work in this business.
Yep.
I mean, Moss was a friend. He was my sensei, man. I mean, he taught me everything. You know, when I went into New Japan, my first debut match, I wrestled a 6-man tag with Brad Reagan and Bad News Brown.
Yep.
Wow.
And we went against Ricky Choshu, who's the IWGP champ, and Hosty and Kinski were the tag champs,
Yeah.
IWGP tag champs. And I went in there, and Masa told me, he says, just take them out. And I had the tag champs knocked out cold, both. And I couldn't catch Choshu anymore.
Right.
I mean, he wasn't going to have none of it.
What about
But
when
anyways,
sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
by the end of the week, you know, Moss is telling me put these guys through the floor.
Mm-hmm.
He says, you know, just take them out.
Yeah.
And I says, man, this is crazy over here, you know. So I'm taking these dudes out. Nobody wanted to wrestle me the last night of the tour. So Moss got pissed at all Japanese boys. He says, hell, he said, F you, I'm 50. I'll wrestle them.
Yeah.
So me and Moss went out and had a hell of a match. And then years later, when Moss retired, he picked me for his retirement match.
Oh, wow.
That was an honor, brother.
Yeah.
In Japan, that just like, and it's like, to me, it's like, that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you know, it was a hell of a match. It was a huge affair. You know, it was just a big deal what he did for me through my career, and he put me over in this
Wow. Yeah.
retirement match. I mean, this guy he did for me what no one else could have possibly. That's why I always stayed true to Japan. I was never going to lose my Japan deal, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody says to me, Scott, you didn't get a good run in the States. But I got the best run in Japan. I mean,
And you had a hell of a run in the States.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Well, I did. I feel like, and I don't feel I was cheated by out of anything. I was involved with the biggest heel group that ever happened, man. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, and no, I get that a lot from fans. I just did a deal this week with New Japan out in Long Beach.
Yep.
And the fans all said, God, I wish you'd have got a better run with WCW. I said, man, Eric Bischoff was awesome to me.
Yeah.
They took care of me so, I mean,
And
people don't understand how, you know, I mean, there's one Goldberg, there's one Scott Hall, there's one Kevin Nash, there's these top stars, one Hulk Hogan, and that takes a lot of time. You know what I'm saying?
And you were such a huge star in Japan, Scott, that you made WCW a lot of money in that WCW New Japan deal. Huge money.
Brother, we took that when we took NWO to New Japan.
Yeah.
You know, when you've been there, when you go to Japan, they got a press conference. You usually do sometimes outside in the runway, you know, or the stage claim, whatever. When I came there with NWO, there was 500-600 reporters there. It was absolutely, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
When I got to the hotel at Keo Plaza, the whole lobby was full. Hundreds of people in NWO shirts. The next morning, when I got up to go to, you know, you take the bus to the matches, they got the this huge touring bus that's top notch, and it's painted NWO's got all of our pictures on it.
Yeah.
I mean, this place went nuts. The memorabilia they sold over there was just absolutely insane. So the NWO was huge in Japan. You know, we had a little fraction over at Chono, Hero, Tenzan. You know, Jeff Farmer was doing the NWO Sting over.
And he was over huge. You know, because like he wasn't really used that good on the state side, but when I went over there and teamed with him at the Osaka Dome, Scott, he was a way bigger star than I was in Japan.
Well, you know, but he put his time in there, and you got to earn it with them people, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, if you'd have wrestled at Japan circuit for a little while, you'd have been right there with all the top guys.
I had my little run there, but it just like I was just like trying to like acknowledge that, you know, he got himself over damn good over there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jeff did a hell of a job over there, man. I mean, Jeff was a good hand, and you know, Masa loved him too, brother.
Yeah.
So yeah, New Japan was a good company to work for. Getting back together with them this last weekend, you know, they brought me in for a sign-in and meet and greet.
Yeah.
It was awesome seeing all the new talent. That they got a hell of an office going right now, man, and they're kind of invading Vince over here, brother.
They sure are.
That show they had Sunday was absolutely lights out.
Yeah,
They had that crowd from start to end.
Yeah, they did.
I was going to ask you, Scott, so obviously with New Japan, your relationship there has been over 25 years. Would you say the craziest time of your career was when the NWO was so insane you were kind of doing double duty back and forth?
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, you know, when you fly back after a 3-week tour and your boss in the States, Bischoff, puts you on the back of a freaking garbage truck 35 below zero.
Yes, in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. What a rib.
Remember that?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was crazy, brother. But yeah, man. I mean, you know, I was lucky because when I went to Japan, we had sold out houses. Business was awesome. When I came to WCW, I started right at Monday Nitro. First Monday Nitro, I wrestled March. It was just lights out, brother. So I was part of two groups that really good times. I mean, I really came into business on a lucky time. I mean, right place, right time. And I'm super grateful for that. You know, Hawk always says, hey, they opened the door. I said, they opened the door. You know, I was perfect time. You see, I would walk through it. And everybody does.
Yeah, you did.
But, you know, we had I mean, you know, you came out to WWE and you went to New Japan or to WCW. I mean, you came from hot stove to hot stove. You know what it's all about.
Sure.
John. And it's just, you know, we were in the right place at the right time, and we had a great run.
And I was fortunate because, that was, speaking of Masa was the one that brought me to New Japan for the New Japan Super Junior tournament, and then I got hired by WWE at the same time. So I was real great.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was so fortunate, you know. And it was tough because, you know, I always thought I was going to end up in Japan with my style and everything. But anyways.
Sure, that style was really strong in Japan.
Yeah.
But, you know, hey, it works here too, brother. And I mean, how many years you had a hell of a run? I mean,
I'm very grateful. Yeah, I'm very grateful. Yeah. You know, I cut my own run short, you know. So, but this isn't about me. Hey, Scott,
yeah.
You know, I was just thinking of the stuff you did with Vern and I kind of dug the stuff you did with Nord, to be honest with you. I kind of like that stuff.
Oh, brother, but that was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, realize Nord's nuttier.
Yeah, he is.
The rest of the time, more he is in the ring. I mean, yeah, we had the Lumberjacks probably would have been all right. But
you guys definitely could stand alone in there. I can't legitimately, no one could in the business could touch you guys if it was real.
I was about 360 at that time, and I was just. I mean, I was horse strong, and John was just absolutely off the chart, man. He was crazy.
Yeah, he was.
I remember we wrestled the Texas Hangmen.
Yeah, they were good.
And, they're a couple pretty good-sized guys. And old John hit that ring. You know, they introduced us, and I come out, and I'm thinking John's behind me. John ain't nowhere. I get to the ring, I turn around, and I said, where the hell's John? And the Hangmen are in the ring, and I'm going, oh, gosh, I'm at the best of a handicap match.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the curtain opens up, and Nord comes running down the way they're just doing the introductions, and he high boots one, and he high boots the other one. He ties the one up on one end of the side of the ropes, and takes the other one, ties them in the other side. Then he starts hitting the ropes and high booting the daylights out of these guys. Needless to say, they took them off the ropes and they dropped, and that was it. And that was at St. Paul Civic Center, the first time they were back there in years.
Oh, geez.
So, yeah, John was off the chain, man.
Hey, how was that? Hey, Scott, I was wondering how much weight you lost when you went through Brad's camp.
I went down probably about 30 pounds. I mean,
wow, that's not bad.
Oh, he ran us right in the ground, though. I mean,
he sure did, man.
Believe me, I was trying to get it all back on. I mean, I never backed away from the table much, but Brad's camp was tough. I mean, he made you earn it.
Yeah.
And me, Brad, he loved pummeling at me, and he loved wrestling me on the mat.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I wasn't a trained wrestler, and this dude's an Olympian.
Yeah.
And I mean, he would ride me into the ground. I mean, I just fighting for my life, and I mean, he's kind of playing with me a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's a few breaks in there where I put it on his ass a little bit, but that's one of the toughest guys I've ever mixed with. I mean, him, Ming, and I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, that was one bad dude. And I mean, and, you know, he made you work. And that's what, you know, prepared you. You know, people don't understand, you know, we're big guys and everybody's in there running around, but your conditioning, you better have wind. I mean, you
Yes.
better have some cardio in you. And they don't get it, you know, how hard we got to work for to wrestle a 20-minute, 30-minute match. You know, especially with the nerves and everything else going on, you blow up sometimes, and it's tough.
Yeah. How about that? Brad would have he had this big log, and it was waterlogged half the time, and you'd have to pick it up and do these drills with it. You'd bend over each side and then one through the legs. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And flip it. Yeah, I flipped that thing so many freaking times. And then right after you got done doing that, he'd pull you over on the mat.
Yeah.
He'd put you in the start position. I'd be down, and he'd want everybody to
try to break you down.
Get me down. Then Brad would come in and put the old front face lock on you and just try to break your head. You know, I mean, he was a tough dude, man. He made you earn it through camp.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
He put Vader through like he had this makeshift like little framing of this toilet like outside and Vader went right through it. Like he was pummeling him and choom.
Yeah.
Well, Scott,
Brad and Vader had Brad and Scott Steiner to worry about.
Oh, that's right.
Neither one. Yeah. So.
Well, Scott,
Vader had, you know, he came out of there pretty humbled. I'll tell you.
While we're talking about conditioning, obviously we know the conditioning you needed for professional wrestling, but you mentioned earlier about training nonstop for arm wrestling for a couple of years. You're one of the only people in the world we can ask about this. What kind of training did you do to become an arm wrestling champion? Was it all like anaerobic, max weight type of stuff? It's got to be drastically different than professional wrestling.
Well, what I did is I did 3 days a week. I would do chest and tries, just max it out. Then I'd do back and shoulders. I'd max it out. Then I'd do legs, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would do forearm and gripping exercises. And that was crazy because I had a grip machine at the Viking gym. This is back in the day now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get loaded up with, you know, 400-pound plates. And, I mean, to do it once was pretty hard, you know, and I would click that thing for sets of 30, you know, and I was doing hammer curls with, I mean, I had to bring in an Olympic dumbbell bar to get enough weight because the 150s weren't heavy enough.
Shit.
I was doing hammer curls with, you know, like 225.
Oh my God.
Wow.
It was insane, man. I mean, but, you know, Cleve Dean was insane. I mean, the guy just flattened me out. And, I mean, I was flattening everybody out. And then once I got to the point where I was really challenging Cleve, and then all of a sudden this big tournament came up, I said, I'm just going to concentrate on this.
Yeah.
And I'm beating that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And during that time, I traveled to Australia. I traveled to Japan with the movie Over the Top, promoting these things. And I was traveling with Johnny Brezink.
Oh,
Considered right now the best arm wrestler in the world.
Hmm.
I beat Johnny in competition 3 times, and played with him in training all the time. I mean,
wow.
I used to just crush him. It wasn't even a competition. So when I left arm wrestling, in my heart, and a lot of people to this day that you know arm wrestling purists, they know it.
Yeah.
You know? And to be honest with you, Johnny even knows it. I mean, you know, when they always talk about the top super heavyweights, he's always the one that brings me into the fold.
Gotcha.
Because, you know, I left after 10 years.
Hey, did you ever
look at the career I had.
did you ever run across Gary Goodridge arm wrestling?
Sure.
Yeah.
Gary's a great guy.
Yeah.
He had nothing for me. I mean, it was just.
Well,
I mean, it
saw.
was a 1 second deal.
I
Boom.
saw him beat Cleve Dean, but that was when Cleve Dean came back and he wasn't like anywhere near
No,
like
he was.
that was in the later years.
Yeah, he was weighing like 430, 440, and he
And
was nothing like he was.
right.
When he was, I mean, his traps were like my shoulders. He was absolutely enormous.
Yeah.
And he was an athlete. I mean, the guy played football, a fullback in high school football. I mean, he was like a 275-pound fullback in high school. And he just kept growing. And I mean,
Was he a giant?
You know, no, I don't think so.
He was just a
I
big
don't
old
think he had
dude,
the
huh?
Same problems that like Andre had.
Yeah.
You know, through all them years, Cleve never talked to me. And, you know, when he laughed at me, I wanted to kill him. I mean, I was serious. I was just pissed. And then years later, I did an appearance at the World Arm Wrestle Tournament in Atlanta. And I ran into Cleve. And Cleve was now he's in a wheelchair.
Right.
And he arm wrestled out of a wheelchair. They kind of stood him up at the table and everything. And we talked, you know, and I mean, I kind of told him, I said, man, you know, you had me going crazy there I was about ready to, you know, I was coming at you, you know, and he said, oh man, he says, Scott, he says, I just knew that you were the guy that I had to worry about.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he said, that wasn't disrespect at all. He says, you know, and I mean, and we talked for probably 90 minutes. It was unbelievable conversation. And it made me feel so good, you know, and we just, you know, we started talking about how much fun we had doing this, and it was just, you know, and Cleve was a competitor, man.
Yeah.
Dude was unbelievable. I mean, his record's just obscene. But it was good. Then shortly thereafter, he passed away, you know. And it was,
in 2008.
You know, it was too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a while back, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cleve was that was a handful right there.
Hey, man.
I
Hey,
mean,
Scott.
and Gary got to a point
Yeah.
in his career. I'm not taking nothing away from Gary. Gary got to a point in his career where he was very dominant in the heavyweight class. But Gary's hand, I dwarfed it and just crushed it. And I could, as a matter of fact, I beat Gary one time in training where I didn't even close my hand on him. He just grabbed my hand. And it was just like I kept my fingers open and I just, so I mean, it was just, it didn't happen. I mean, and you know, he won't give me that acknowledgement. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, really?
Because he
Even at
had
this
a long
point?
run in Japan.
Yeah.
And he kind of, you know, I mean, that's my deal. The World Arm Wrestling Champion, all that. And you know, they always ask Gary about it. And Gary, he kind of, you know, I mean, Johnny Brzezinski has no problem. And Johnny's the best. You know, he had the best career, longevity, 30-plus years. He beat so many different guys. Anybody that beat Johnny, he came back and got him. They all say he'd have done the same thing to me. Yeah. Well, the gap that he would have closed would have been massive. Just probably the same thing that I was doing with Cleve.
Right.
But the point that I got to, I was still going. I mean, I could have got better. I mean, seriously. So I mean, I'm just not. You know, I'm just leave it there. But no, Gary got to a point where he dominated the super heavyweight class. He did a great job. He beat who was in front of him. You just can't, you know, that's all you can do, right?
Yeah.
He beat who's on the table, and I wasn't, you know, I was out. I was retired, you know, but.
Hey, how many guys, and you must have gotten sick of it at some point in the industry, in the business, want to arm wrestle you? All the guys, like
wrestlers?
Yes.
Like in the locker room?
Not many at all. Hardly anybody.
No, but like no one would try to stir the shit up between you and this guy. You like didn't you arm wrestle Big Show one time?
Big Show. I was playing Bill Street with the Steiner brothers and Sting, and Big Show comes up and he grabbed my arm and into an arm wrestling thing.
Yeah.
And I just got done with a torn bicep.
Right.
6 months, and often he just kind of hits on me, and I couldn't try to push through that. I was, you know, I'd have been back where I was 6 months earlier, you know. But hey, I tell you what, if I had Big Show on the table, and could train him, that would have been a nightmare. That dude definitely could have been he potentially had more potential that Cleve did.
Wow.
Because he was such an athlete.
Yeah.
Brother, I wrestled Big Show in the Dome over in Japan, and he kicked up on me.
Sure. Yeah, I remember that.
And then he stood there with this big dumb look on his face. I didn't mean that, show, but he did.
No,
it.
but yeah.
Because he was so surprised he kicked up. And I said, and then finally I had to drill him.
Yeah.
You did all that for nothing.
Well, just look at him now, well into his 40s.
Yeah.
And then look at him now, well into his 40s. The guy's still incredible. He's in ridiculous shape.
Oh yeah.
And
No, there's no that son of a gun. That's another wonder right there, brother. Don't get me wrong. I'm telling you. I mean, I don't know how much we're talking about the business or where we go with it.
Yeah.
But, he chokeslammed me on Monday Nitro in the middle, 1, 2, 3 one time.
Right.
And the match was so physical, and I took it, I didn't back down from show. I went right at them.
Right.
And, they liked that. So the next time it was, on the floor.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're out there, we're bombing away, and I get, crushed into the rail or post or whatever. And I remember Show, getting ready to give me the choke slam on the floor, and he grabbed the mat, that big long mat that's outside every side of the ring, and he flicked it. And it looked like a tornado hit that son of a bitch because it just went flying into the crowd like a big gust of wind hit it. And I went, oh my God, I'm dead. And it was the easiest bump I've ever taken.
Yeah, I love that.
Absolutely. I was being played with like I was a 40-pound little child.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. I was 335 pounds at the time or something. I mean,
Jesus.
So yeah, there's a lot of power in that man. So yeah, he'd have been scary if somebody got a hold of him and trained him up. That would have been nightmare stuff. I mean, because I know he didn't do anything for his forearm. His hand was massive and strong. If he'd learned some of the tricks we do with the condition of a forearm, with all these cables and ropes and little different moves to work all these small areas in your tendons and stuff, I could have turned him into a monster. I would have trained with him. I would have wanted to do that, because that's what it's all about, beating the best.
Hey, was there money in it, Scott, or did you just do it for the love of it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
The money wasn't that good, but when I won over the top, it was a decent payday. But and then when I got out of it, what happened with that turned into everybody that I talked to, all the old time guys, all the newer guys that I stay in touch with, they all said, you did the right thing, Scott. You made way better living. If you'd have stayed in arm wrestling and tried, you've been doing concrete work in arm wrestling.
Sure.
And, we had nice runs, and we were very fortunate to make the money we made. And, I'm grateful for that, but I do, I'd have loved to see where I'd have ended up 2-3 years down the line after Over the Top, because it was, nobody was even close. I had 28 matches that day, and the guy that didn't start to watch 6 or 7 times. It just, no time. I just flat buried everybody, and it was just, it was awesome, brother. It was just an awesome time.
What's the longest one you had?
Please.
Yeah, the 3 minutes. Yeah, wow. Oh my God, your arm must have just felt like it was gonna explode. Oh my God.
Yeah, and then the guy that put the tournament on, he put me up there against Johnny Walker. About 2 minutes later, I says, God, did you just not see this? And Johnny got a win on me, and it pissed me off.
I wonder why.
Well, yeah, I was.
That's like the whole, that reminds me of the whole, making the guy, do all the squats and the push-ups and getting them all blown up and then getting on the mat with him. Like any kids at jellyfish. Yeah.
Like what happened at the power plant?
Yes.
CW power plant all the time?
Yes, exactly. Exactly what I'm talking about, Scott. Yep.
Oh, if you know, and then come back that night and brag about what you did to these poor guys at the camp.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
Everybody knew. I mean, that ain't, if you're gonna take the guy out of the mat and you're gonna rough him up, do it when he's 100%. Then if you did it, you know, okay. But that wasn't no badge of honor. That was bull.
Nope.
I want to know,
yeah, go ahead.
with all your years in wrestling, why have you never had an action figure?
I don't know. I mean, it's just I've been puzzled about that. I got a guy that made some. It blows me away. It's like, you know, in Japan, when you wrestle in Japan, you pretty much got to realize that you work these big long matches and the title matches and all this stuff, but they're still pushing the Japanese.
Yeah.
So pretty much 80% of what you do is clip on the floor.
Yeah.
They cut it. I wrestled a match. Me and Jeff Farmer wrestled Mike Barton and Jim Steele. It was about a 56-minute match, and it was absolutely, from them two guys were phenomenal. Jeff worked so great with Jim Steele, and me and Mike Barton were just like.
Mike Barton is Bart Gunn, everyone.
Yeah, Mike Barton's a stud. Brother.
Yes, he is.
And I'm not kidding you. And this is the first time I said, Tayama, I want this tape. It was that good of a match. I said, I want this tape. I got to watch this match again. He gave me the tape. They played 90 seconds on TV.
That happened all the time.
And that's what happened. You see, so for people, if they're not absolutely in Japanese wrestling and have these VHSs, it doesn't get back here that much. You get the magazine stuff and so on and so forth, but you're a huge star in Japan, and they weren't doing action figures. And so
it's about time for a Scott Norton action figure, don't you think, Jimbo?
Yeah, Figures Toy Company. They make all these legends. They made Just Incredible. They're doing Francine now. They should definitely contact you and make you one.
We should send them this clip.
I would love if they did, because I mean, I got a lot of people ask me about that. I mean, and it wouldn't hurt, you know. I mean, you know, my wife says, I don't understand why the hell that happened. You know, and she's asked Eric that same question. Eric, you know, starts, he gets nervous around my wife.
Yeah.
I don't blame her.
Me neither, man.
Scott, you leave it to us. Social media is a powerful thing. I think we could work something out.
We're gonna get this handled.
Okay.
Hey,
I would love it, though. That'd be nice.
Hey, we're getting ready. We're getting toward the end of the show, and anything you guys want to throw in here?
Are you excited for this match with you, Buff Bagwell, and Sean at Glory Pro coming up on
Are
October
you kidding
19th?
me? To get back around the guys, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm telling you what. I just did a 3 shots up in Winnipeg with CWE, Canadian Wrestling Elite. I had a blast. I just did it this last week, and I was back with New Japan. I'm happy. In 2 weeks from this weekend, I'm back with Sean and Buff. Are you kidding me? This is, you get to look back and you get to look forward. You miss this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a hell of a career and a ride, man. We were fortunate. The stuff we got to share with each other and be on the road and the friendships you make. So when you get a chance to get back with your buddies, man, it's just amazing. You know, it's something I look forward to. You know, heck, we go so far back, you know, back in the Minneapolis days, Eddie Sharkey stuff and all this stuff. You know, I mean, it's a great reunion, and you get to have them all the time when we do these signings and stuff. You get to hook up with the boys. I got to see Ming last night, or Sunday for the first time in 10 years. And at the end, I start crying. I mean, I love that dude. Me and him we have so many memories of these matches, wars we had in Japan that were just unbelievable. I went to Ming and I said, these kids are really they're really something else, man. They're really good. He said, yeah, but they didn't do it like me and you did it.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and I mean, he was serious. I go, yep, you're damn right, Ming.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Hey, I tell you what, that dude's still Ming's for real, brother.
Yeah,
but, you know, when you get around to see the guys, you know, I've been around Scotty a lot in the past. I see Kevin. I get to see the guys, you know, and we have a good time, man. It's a lot of fun, you know. It's a little reunion, you know, we'd have fun in the ring. You know, I'm sure we're not going to burn the house down like we used to, but we're to entertain them good.
Oh, we're gonna crush it, Scott. We're gonna kill it, man. Don't worry.
We're going to kill it, all right.
Yeah.
We'll have some good times. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to see you, man. It's been a little bit too long.
Well, it'll be great, Sean.
Yeah.
It's always. I got a picture on my Facebook that when I was poked my head through the curtain, you got it too.
Yeah.
I think we're in San Antonio about 5, 6, 8 years ago.
Yep.
And every time I see it, I just smile.
Was that Gilbert's thing?
There's always been a good vibe with you, Sean, and everything's always been good.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a blast.
Hell yeah. Hey, is there anything you want to plug on social media? Do you have merch, or did you have a Pro Wrestling Tee store yet?
I do, but you know, everything's getting redone here because I finalized the book about a year ago.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
And you know, it's called Scott Norton Strong Style, and it's about my life story and everything. And been working about getting it published, and I finally got, you know, where it's going to end up. Beginning of next year, it's going to happen, and I'm super excited about it. So I really haven't, you know, everything hits, and hopefully one day I step back in the ring over in Japan, and it's all kind of come together at the same time, and it'll be good, brother.
Nice.
I mean, I'm just kind of buying my time right now, trying to time everything out, and you know, I'm staying busy as I can in the ring, and but next year's gonna be a big year for me. It's gonna be a lot of fun, you know. And I mean, stepping away from this for good is really gonna, you know, it's gonna be tough because I love it.
Yeah.
I love everything about it. All the guys, everything we get to do, you know, the friendships, you know, competing, entertaining, showing what you got. It's just, you know, we've done it. You know, we got that extra, you know, it's special, you know, and you know, I miss it. And so like next 2 weeks from now when I see Sean and Marcus, we're gonna blast, you know. And this whole career was great. You know, it's tough. It's hard on you.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling's hell, brother. It puts your body, tests you through every strength of your being. And people, you push through, you know, and you know, the tough ones survive, and the guys that can, you know, just keep coming back for more and more. Well, once you start, you know, you get to the other end of it, and you just keep coming back for more and more.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
You stay the same. So we don't change. We just, you know, but you got to say enough's enough.
But you're a testament to what happens when you stay in great shape, you treat people the right way, and look at you now, you're still doing it. And so kudos to you. I think a lot of people can take lessons from that.
Yeah, well, thank God I'm still, you know, able to, you know, and I mean, I enjoy it. You know, I mean, there's going to be, you know, a year or two down the line, there'd be a lot of replacement surgery going on over here too. I'm worried, you know, at least I wore it out. I didn't rust it out.
Right
you know
on.
What I'm saying?
Yep. Hell yeah. Hey,
and, you know, we all got our aches and pains, but that's just part of it. Everybody can complain and complain and complain about that, but it ain't get you nowhere.
No. Plus, for me, it was all worth it, Scott. Every single bit of it, man.
Yep. I'm telling you, brother. I mean, I've worked some matches where, you know, career-ending or season-ending injuries in the NFL, we work right through them.
Yep.
And I mean, number of them. And people just don't understand us, you know, but that's how we go. That's how we roll, brother.
Yep.
And, but yeah, next year's going to be a real exciting year for me. Me and Cameron are going to have a blast with this. And I'm really looking forward, you know, to life after wrestling a little bit, you know, get myself back healthy and kind of tune it down a little, you know, just doing the meet and greets and stuff. But I am still looking forward to getting in the ring, especially a couple weeks from now.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing you there, my friend. And thank you so much for taking the time today, Scott. I love you very much, man. I can't wait to see you.
Hey, brother. It's Sean, you've been a really, really great friend for a long time.
Thanks,
brother.
Man. Thanks.
You know, this has been a pleasure for me. I mean, Sean, this stuff, you want to do it as much as you can. So anytime I can mix with a guy like you and talk, the business, and it's awesome, brother.
Yeah.
So this is great. I mean, down the road, just the next when my book comes out, let's do it together.
Absolutely.
Oh
man.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, man. Scott Norton, everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Hey, have a great day, brother.
You too, my
See you in
friend.
a couple weeks, okay?
All right,
care.
man. Bye.
Lou's restless. She wants to get
All
there.
right.
All right. Well,
Hell of a show.
should we wrap it up, I guess?
Follow Sean
Yes.
on Twitter at the real X-Pac. Use the hashtag X-Pac12360. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, guys. So go to our YouTube where you're watching right now and subscribe.
And we're gonna have some
YouTube.com/Xbox.
ideas with some new content and like some different things I got in mind. We got to change some things up around here. So,
Yeah.
anyways, love you guys. We'll see you next week right here on X-Pac 12360 on AfterBuzz TV, Westwood One, and the Jericho Network.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Sean Waltman, producers Mark B. Donica, Jimbo Frank, and the entire X-Pac 12360 staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in. Like us on Facebook, rate and comment on iTunes and YouTube. Follow X-Pac on Twitter at TheRealXpac and email us at xpac12360show@gmail.com.